y'all, because Will, if you could please pop up that article, because this is a content warning for police brutality. As I said before, the child involved in this story survived, but they didn't survive without getting beat up. And it is a mad story. So this is coming out of Delaware. Okay. Now, gang, I know we got a lot of Gen Xers in here, right? And for our people that are not quite Gen X, we used to be able to get away with, a variety of different pranks. Well, I'm mainly talking about white kids. I mean, because me and my friends wasn't doing this shit. We wasn't doing ding dong gone or whatever, ringing people's doorbells and hauling ass. But I did know kids my age that were doing such things in addition to toilet papering. That what this is going to be more reflective of where I grew up. Not only was the white kids toilet papering people's houses, but I lived in a place that had some proximity to farms. So these kids would go cow tipping. Craziness, right? Craziness. They would knock over mailboxes with baseball bats. I mean, wildin'. But this story is not quite that. So I'm going to take you to, I believe this is Newcastle, Delaware. Okay. And you see the headline there from the New York Post. It says Delaware trooper suspended for allegedly beating a 15-year-old who ding dong ditched his house. Ding dong ditched, right? Literally ringing the doorbell and hauling ass and laughing hysterically, as I imagine kids do. But overall, not a crime, not a criminal act, certainly not anything deserving of police violence. Oh, but the child received some violence. So the young man, 15 years old, his name, he's being identified in news outlets by being named Jayden. And Jayden was out with a bunch of friends. And unbeknownst to them, when they decided to ding dong ditch, ring the doorbell of someone's house in their neighborhood and took off running, they didn't know that they were ringing the doorbell of a Delaware state trooper. And the state trooper apparently was alerted to the ding dong ditch prank, a very harmless prank, could be perceived as annoying, but nothing criminal. Yeah. The Delaware state troopers spent close to an hour trying to find these kids. And when they found them, I have to give another content warning. Will, if you could get the video queued up, because what you're about to see, these pictures that you're about to see of the injuries that this young man sustained are truly ghastly, right? And made the more surprising, perhaps to some, maybe not surprising to all, that this was a young white kid that got beat the fuck up. I said they only reserve this kind of police brutality for, darker shades of brown and black. You do not see young white boys getting this level of police brutality. Usually, if not, I would say ever, but apparently not ever. Never say never. So here it goes. I want us to pick up the story coming out of Delaware. And the injuries that this kid sustained includes a fractured orbital bone. He suffered a concussion. He suffered bruises all over his body, front and back. You got to hear it and see it to believe it. So, Will, let's go on to the package. Let's check it out.
15-year-old Ellesmere, Delaware boy is home from the hospital recovering from some very serious injuries he said came at the hands of a Delaware state trooper. And tonight, that trooper has been suspended. Pictures of the swollen and beaten face of a 15-year-old Ellesmere, Delaware boy making the social media rounds. The post forcing the Delaware State Police to respond and take action.
He has a long road ahead of him, physically and mentally.
Tara Murphy says her nephew, who we are not identifying by name, was assaulted by that uniformed state trooper Monday night. She wants people to see the pictures to show what happened.
And they did decide to play Ding Dong Ditch, Doorbell Dixie. I'm sure we've all grown up playing that game.
The game took a turn when, unfortunately, she says her nephew and 3 friends unknowingly rang the ring doorbell of a Delaware state trooper. And a little while later, she says, that trooper and a partner tracked down the boys along South Union Street near the Wilmington-Ellesmere border.
State troopers, which don't patrol the area of Ellesmere, stopped my nephew and his friends, arrested them, and that is when my nephew was beaten.
She says troopers had to call an ambulance and took the boy to Nemours Hospital with a broken orbital bone, a concussion, along with scrapes and bruises. We asked the Delaware State Police about the incident. In a statement, they say through an internal body-worn camera review, the state trooper who is accused of the assault has been suspended while the investigation is pending. Now, as her nephew recovers mentally and physically, this family wants to know exactly who did this.
In the coming days, right now, we would like to have the name of the trooper. They have still refused to share the name with us, with the public. They're keeping that under wraps. We want justice for my nephew.
And that boy was set to start his sophomore year in high school next week. However, his family says his surgery will prevent him from starting school on time. The Delaware State Police are also investigating whether there was a failure to intervene by another state trooper, Sheba, who was on the scene at the time of the incident.
There are bruises all over his body. There's bruises on his shoulder. There's bruises on his chest. There's bruises on the back of his neck. He was roughed up on the ground while handcuffed, and he also was given a blind haymaker punch by a state trooper while he was shining a flashlight into Jayden's eyes.
I'm reading the comments from the chat. Schultze, you see that shit? Shirley, you see that shit? Tasia, you saw that shit? Infinite said they need to put the state troopers in jail. Put them under the fucking jail. And to be clear, the state trooper still has not been named. Jayden's family does not know the name of the trooper that literally beat the shit out of a 15-year-old for ringing a doorbell and running away. The fact that these Delaware state troopers made the time to search down these children, you would think after 45 minutes to an hour of looking for a group of juveniles, maybe they would be like, this isn't really worth our time. Maybe we have some actual police work to do. Absolutely not. These cops are out here to settle scores. They got vendettas. You cannot cross police in any way, shape, or form because they are looking to exact revenge. And that's exactly what happened to this 15-year-old. You guys, I first saw that package and all I kept saying was, God damn, they beat the hell out of this kid. Literally, this kid. Okay? And you saw the aunt speaking on behalf of the family. Listen, y'all, when white folks can't get answers, it's over. Okay, forget it. Forget all about it. And I was curious, whether or not there was a White Lives Matter rally happening tonight in Newcastle County, Delaware, in Ellesmere, Delaware. Is there White Lives Matter? Is there no justice, no peace? Is there justice for Jayden? I'm being sarcastic here, but I'm not, because this is what we need everybody to understand. Even those who don't think that they or their loved ones would be on the receiving end of police brutality for something as innocuous as a teenage prank, something that was absolutely not criminal. The problem is, what's that infamous saying? When they came for group A, I said nothing. When they came for group B, I said nothing. And now they're coming for me. And who is here to speak up for me? These systems of power, especially the police state, they are there to corral and keep non-whites and poors in place, right? But they understand that their powers are pretty much all reaching. They can reach out and touch whomever they want. I guess assuming that there is not a significant level of connection to actual people in power, right? And they can just do whatever. And when they start beating white kids like this, the rest of the whites need to pay attention. Seriously, the rest of the whites need to be paying attention because they are only going to reserve that brutality for blacks and browns, but for so long until they feel as though they have this power to do it to any and everyone, which includes innocent white children. And I'm not usually the one to speak up for innocent white children, but let me speak up for this young man. There's nothing that Jayden did to deserve that level of brutality that he received. And per the package, you heard that a second Delaware state trooper is also under investigation for failing to intervene. You think that's a training issue? I mean, do adults truly need to be trained that they need to a not beat the shit out of kids who are not resisting and who are not being violent or accused of doing anything violent? And B, you might want to intervene when you witness child abuse. Like, if there is a child, and 15-year-old is absolutely a child to me, if you are witnessing a child be violently assaulted, who was by all accounts handcuffed, you don't step in, you don't say nothing. You didn't see what happened to George Floyd's cohorts. You missed that part. That this is not a training issue. This is a character issue. This is a black soul issue. I mean, not like good black soul, not like, sliding the family stone. Not, I'm not talking about that kind of, and I even like to say black when referring, to the darkness. That's the way that anti-black rhetoric creeps into a lot of our vernacular. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, something's the matter with you. I don't know if there's something mentally wrong with you. I don't know if there's something spiritually wrong with you, something matter with your character. But if you're able to commit that kind of violence on a teenager and witness that kind of violence upon a teenager, this is not a training issue. You are fucked up. You're a fucked up individual and you need to be punished. Now, it is not clear, though I assume that this Delaware state trooper has been suspended with pay, right? That's my guess. That would be my guess. Absolutely suspended with pay. But the Delaware state trooper legion, as it were, has long had a big problem with all kinds of things. Then, to be in the interest of fairness, I do not know the race of these state troopers, though I can guess. Even though sometimes I play guess the race and I have been wrong. I don't, you know what? I don't know. I can't say. Well, if you could pop up the DOJ press release for me. I was just trying to find, you know, things that would maybe give us a clue as to the culture of Delaware state troopers. And in 2004, the Department of Justice won a lawsuit alleging that the Delaware state troopers routinely discriminated against African American applicants. Now, all cops are bastards. Black cop, white cop, Hispanic cop, Asian cop, all of them, none of them ain't shit. But it seems as though Delaware state troopers, at least per 2004, and let's be clear, in 2004, this was George Bush's Department of Justice, right? So they had to been real fucked up for the Bush DOJ to come after the Delaware state troopers. But anyway, what they found is that the Delaware state troopers, in their entrance examinations for entry level applicants, on something called the alert test, the way that they were gauging the reading and comprehension scores of African American applicants was, quote, artificially high. So the DOJ found that this practice of arbitrarily setting these entrance exam passing scores as what they described as artificially high was hindering Black applicants from joining the force. And what it went on to say is that the Delaware state troopers, violated Title VII of the Civil Rights Act. And it found that even some of these black applicants trying to join the Delaware State Troopers and who were denied because their scores were not deemed high enough. Some of these black folks went on to join such esteemed law enforcement agencies like the US Secret Service. So it's not like they wasn't quote qualified to be cops. No, they was qualified to be pigs, but the Delaware State Troopers said we don't want no darkies, on in our piggy ranks. So we're gonna set these test scores or set these these passing scores as artificially high per the Department of Justice. So the Department of Justice actually won that lawsuit and found that the Delaware State Troopers were guilty of actively discriminating against specifically black applicants. Now, clearly, you could take that down, Will. Now, clearly, this young man in Delaware who got beat is not black. But it just goes to show you that anybody can get it, even fans in the stands. These guns is a son, don't catch a tan with your man. I wanted to bring y'all that story because I need us to continue to spread the word, spread the message that they beating and killing black kids today. They will be beating and killing white kids tomorrow. There is something inherently bad about the institution of American policing, and no matter how many hundreds of millions of dollars that get spent on recruiting cops, retaining cops, training cops, building cop cities across the country. This is what police are there to do. They are there to target, they are there to harass, they are there to be fascist, they are there to, and to be clear, I don't even think this young man, Jayden, was even charged with anything. He wasn't even charged with anything. His mama got a call and told her that her son was in the hospital and they need to come pick him up. I don't think Jayden even got charged with anything. So he got an ass beaten for what? For what exactly? For ding dong ditch? Is that what we doing? Is that what we doing?